I hope after today people can see that overhead lighting is indeed homophobic. Hey friends, it's your good friend Tim Campbell-Smith, and today I'm walking you through a week in my life as a Bachelor of Social Work student. Please note, every semester is different. I'm bringing you along for my second semester, which is a little more intense than my first semester. But I'm gonna walk you through kind of what the days and nights look like, what that whole week looks like, how I balance my time, what takes my time, and navigating the university system. This is also kind of dependent on the year level. I'm technically in first year. First and second year are a lot more like a general social science program, but third and fourth year are a lot more intense. They're practical focused and a little bit different. So this will change, but this is the beginning of the university degree for a Bachelor of Social Work. Before we go too far, make sure you like and subscribe for all things higher education, business, mental health, photography, and life. So jumping right in, I'm gonna say each semester is different. For example, my first semester was really, really light. I only had 4 classes and only 2 of them were in person. Everything else was online. So I was a lot more in control of my schedule. I had a lot more flexible schedule. Second semester, I have 5 classes and 4 of them are in person, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So it's definitely changed what the semester looks like. I think my semester now looks more like what most university students' semesters looks like. On the screen now is a calendar. So this is what, like a mock-up. I can't show you my real calendar because it has client information. More on that in a bit. But this is what like a typical week actually looks like. It's color-coded. I live by this Google Calendar and this is what fills it. But we'll unpack it and we'll talk about it. So we're gonna go Monday to Sunday. Let's start with Monday. First things first, I have no classes on Mondays. I wanted at least one day with no classes. And this semester, that looks like Mondays. I work like 3 to 4, sometimes 5 like flexible jobs. So Mondays are like, and I mean the whole day from like 8 a.m. until like 9 p.m. It's like a work day where I'm working a bunch of different jobs and doing like everything I gotta do to like run my business and for different jobs and depending if I have a contract or not. On Mondays, I tend to load in like a breakfast meeting and a lunch meeting. Because of running my business, I'm still practicing as a digital marketing consultant at the time of recording. People still love to meet over meals, so I try to do my breakfast meetings and my lunch meetings on Mondays. For school, I'll do any prep for the week, so by Monday, I try to get all my readings done for everything I need to do for all of my classes. I have 3 classes that require active readings, and I have to do like readings before the classes. One class is online, so it's more just like class time, and then one class I don't really have any readings for. So I try to get have all of my readings done by Monday for all of my classes in the coming week. I've mentioned this in other videos, but I learn well, and I think, you know, I'm an A student, I'm an A+ student, and one of my study tricks is to always do the readings before class. What happens in class shouldn't really surprise you. There shouldn't be anything shocking or really new to you, and that way you can internalize it a little bit deeper, and you can engage with the instructor more. So that's why I do all of my readings before the class, so that I'm not being surprised. I'm hearing what the prof wants to focus on, their approach, and then I can engage with them that way. So that's Mondays. Now let's get to Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, I have 2 classes, a 3-hour lecture and a 90-minute lecture. I have social work and I have my first criminology class. Social work classes at Laurier, we're only allowed to miss 3 classes per semester in any one subject. So this semester I only have 1 social work class, so I'm allowed to miss it up to 3 times. The other classes my other class that day, criminology, doesn't take attendance, so it's a lot easier to miss. More on that in a little bit. But social work I really do try not to miss, especially because it's so skill-based. And yeah, you can read articles and stuff that like our prof recommends, but really the gold has been like going to his class and like listening to him and engaging with the material and the exercises that he provides for us. Criminology. I'm gonna be so careful about what I'm gonna say here. So I have criminology 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I go on Tuesdays, I skip Thursdays for the most part. One, you gotta remember adults, by the time we get to university, yes, technically, even if you're just like 18, you are now an adult. Adults make decisions about how to engage in learning. I have now gotten to a point where in prioritizing my energy, my effort, and my time, I recognize that my prof mainly gets his slide decks just from the textbook and he doesn't add too much to it. So I go to like listen to him because I do like listening and engaging in person. So I don't want to like skip every single class, but I go to listen. I go to hear if he has any tips or tricks for upcoming like tests or assignments. But otherwise, I'm good at staying on top of my readings. I always read the slide decks if they get posted early. So that's why I fervently go to criminology class on Tuesdays, because I don't go on Thursdays. So 4.5 hours of class takes up most of the day. If I have a meeting for another job or work, or I have a little bit of work to do, I'll squeeze it in on a Tuesday. Otherwise, I have to commute home, and my commute's about an hour long to pick up my partner from work. We're a single car household, and then to go home. And I have an example here. I set up my notes so that they flow from one class to the next, one concept to the next, so that I can just easily go in, pick up my notes, and also review them. If I have time, if I'm not too pressed for time, I will go and review my notes like after a class just to make sure that things stick. Then we get to Wednesdays, and Wednesdays and Fridays are basically, I run the same, I do them the same. So I get to campus, I have class pretty early in the morning, pretty early at 10 a.m. I get in, I always get a coffee because I always need one. I go, usually bring a smoothie for lunch because my classes are running over lunchtime. And so I'll go to my two 90-minute classes. One is an elective, one is for my minor. So you can guess I pay a little more attention in one than the other. Because my class goes over lunchtime, I try to bring like a functional lunch that I can eat in class. So smoothies are my go-tos. It can't be like cumbersome. It can't be something that you have to heat up. So like smoothies and like a cookie is usually what I bring for lunch. So I'll go to class, I'll have lunch usually in class. I will then stay on campus to work, to do homework, to take online meetings with clients for my work. From there, I will then either go to the gym, or I'll go to a coffee shop to work, or I'll go home. Then we get to Thursday. So again, I skip most of my criminology classes on Thursdays. I will only go if there's a guest lecture, because in this course anyways, guest lecture material is not posted ahead of time and is testable material. The only way I'm gonna learn that is actually by going. Or if there's a test on the day, so I'll go to those classes. Otherwise, I skip criminology on Thursdays. So if I have to go to class, I will come to campus, I'll find like a work spot, or like the lab that I'm in right now where I do research assisting, and I'll just like work on my own, and then I'll go to class. If I'm not coming to campus at all, if I'm like not going to class, I usually just like work from home. So I'll do schoolwork, I'll do my own work, any contract work that I have, I'll go to the gym, kind of just like a really self-paced day. Thursdays kind of feel like my catch-all day, like whatever I really didn't achieve on Monday or whatever is pressing, I will do on Thursday. Like filming YouTube videos like this. So then Friday is just like Wednesday. So I get to campus, get a coffee, I bring a lunch that I can have in class, I go to my two classes, definitely make a note to go to the bathroom in between classes. If I have to go during class, I'm at this point where I'm like, screw it, I will get up and leave to go to the bathroom as you need. So I'll go to the bathroom, I'll definitely stretch in between classes because I'm an old hag and I can't sit for 3 hours. I'll stay and do work, I'll take meetings if I have to, and then I will head home. Evenings and weekends are for friends and for personal time. Friday nights, when RuPaul's Drag Race is on, I'm a big Drag Race fan, so Friday nights are always for Drag Race. Other thing I should say about the weekend, because I've only covered 4 courses so far, is I do have an online asynchronous class that I'm taking, and I tend to do it on the weekend. I am not as passionate about my online asynchronous class, and it's a mandatory class for my program, so I'm gonna say I kind of do the bare minimum I need to like get an A, and I usually do that on the weekends. With it, I should also say that this semester is like, it's a really even split between, like hand-in assignments and tests. So I don't have as many assessments as I did like last semester. Last semester, it was constant, frequent, tiny assessments. This semester, it's like a few big assignments and tests throughout the entire semester. So on the weekend, I will also work away a little bit at each major assignment. Between my 5 classes, I have like 3 papers to write. over a significant amount of time. So I just like chip away a little bit at it each weekend to stay on top of it. So other things about like going to Laurier and what my week looks like as a social work student. In there, I do go to the gym, and I go to the gym quite regularly, like 3 to 4 times a week, 5 if I'm really crushing it. Usually like Thursdays before class or when I have time, Mondays, and then weekends I'll definitely go. When I'm on campus, and one critique I've been pretty vocal about at Laurier Brantford, which is where the social work program is, we don't have like aesthetically pleasing study spots. So I tend to like move around to change my environment so that it's more enjoyable to look at. Social work at Laurier, at least at Laurier anyways, doesn't really do exams. In mapping out like the courses I'm gonna take over my 4 years, I'm doing a health studies minor. Almost all of my exams, almost all of my exams come from my health studies classes or a couple electives that I have this year. Otherwise, when I looked at like the exam schedule for all the semesters, there's no social work classes. We don't do exams in social work. So our program is mainly like assignment-based and skills-based. I will also say, like, so far, I'm really coming to see that like social work at Laurier is much more like a general social science degree. It's not like nursing, which can be really intense. It's not like going to law school. The first couple of years are just kind of like a general social science degree. Don't get me wrong, some of the material that you engage with in class you'll have to really wrestle with your soul and with your psyche, which has been fascinating to see. But like the workload isn't much more than any other program. I'd say you're really like, in this program, we're looking at like 30 hours a week of work. Which, you know, to me as a social science student, I'm like, oh yeah, that's normal. But my understanding is that like the science kids, like they have way more because of labs, fine art, they have way more because of like creating art. The theater kids have more in rehearsals. So, you know, it's just a nice conservative 30 hours a week for schooling. Also, I will say at the time of recording, reading week is coming up. Reading week is not a week off. It is a time to knock out assignments. I found this last semester during reading week, all of my profs were like, have a great reading week. And by the way, during reading week, please work on this massive assignment or please do like all these readings. And so when I look at like my assignment due dates, I'm working on them a little bit each weekend. My plan is to finish all of them over reading week and to knock out those big assignments. All of this to say, it's got the workload of a social science degree in social work. A lot of it is very personal. In the social work program, and everybody knew this coming in though, you will have to wrestle with your beliefs and your values and why you believe what you believe and why you value what you value. So even though like you're not spending as much time maybe like writing a paper for a social work class as you would say like, I think my criminology class, it's a lot more personal. For example, one assignment in my one social work class, you have to identify what are your 5 biggest values and why do you value them and where did they come from and how do they show up in your life and who would agree with you that those are values and how do you think those values, like you see how it just keeps adding and it's fiercely personal. So you have to like wrestle with these things. But I think as long as, especially for social work, if you put in the work and if you're willing to be reflective, you'll be fine. I do think the program keeps you pretty busy. Any university degree keeps you pretty busy. A full course load will keep you busy for 30 hours. So, and then you got to work on top of that, if you know, to pay bills as you would. But I think it's manageable. I feel like I have the time. And that is social work at Laurier and what a week kind of looks like for me. Again, here's my schedule so you can kind of see like what that looks like. Please note, it is quite condensed in the middle because I have commute time at the beginning and the end of the day. And I'll do work, I'll do schoolwork in the evenings and on weekends as well. Comment and let me know if you have any questions about social work at Laurier or coming to Laurier. Otherwise, make sure you like and subscribe for all things higher ed, mental health, business, photography, and life. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye for now.